Welcome to the VET S.O.S. Entrepreneurial Spotlight. Remember, don't drown the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. Lifeline. The Veteran Entrepreneurial Spotlight is sponsored by SpearPoint Solutions. SpearPoint is a one-stop shop for leading-edge products, services, and training from multiple vendors. From AI training to corporate gifts and much more, they have everything you need to help your organization thrive in the modern economy. You can check out all the valuable offerings at spearpointonline.com, and remember to use the code VETSOS on anything you purchase there to help continue to support our mission here and who we're trying to help. Today, I'm sitting down with David Daly. He's a seasoned expert in the drone industry, blending a wealth of experience across multiple fields into a unique and comprehensive approach to uncrewed aerial systems. An award-winning photographer and writer, David holds a Federal Aviation Administration commercial SUAS license, a graduate of the United States Naval Academy with a Bachelor's of Science in Oceanography. David's career began as a Marine Corps officer. How you doing today, David?
Great. How are you? I'm glad to be here.
I am doing fantastic, and you just reminded me reading that I have to do my yearly or my training so I can renew my drone license, which expires here early next year. So I need to get on that. Great reminder.
Thankfully, it's very easy. The redoing it is very simple. One of the simplest government processes out there.
That's good to hear, because I was sweating the original test for a while there, really having to study certain things. And the course I took didn't work for me. I actually got more out of the book when I actually pulled the book out and started using it. So, all right, well, let's start with your transition real quick. How did your transition out of the military go?
You know, I found the transition difficult. In the Marine Corps, I had when I got out the first time, I had just completed my 4th tour in Iraq. And so I felt pretty burned out. And, I had participated in some very kinetic things like the second battle of Fallujah and whatnot. And when I left, I went immediately into corporate America, and I felt like that was the right path. And it just happened to be when the whole economic downturn, across the world happened in 2008. So very quickly after getting into that industry, they started downsizing. And so about a little less than a year and a half into the work in the aerospace industry, I was let go. And, I thought, what am I going to do in an economy that's not really prepared for or ideal for somebody who's really got primarily a combat background. And so, I went back to the war zones as a contractor. That was what I did. And then while I was out there, I to this day, I don't know how they found me, but I got a call from the Marine Corps saying, we like some of the stuff we see in your background. Would you want to come back for a year? You don't know us anything after that. We just would like you to, give us a year in Afghanistan. And since I was already contracting in Afghanistan, I decided, yeah, maybe I made a mistake by getting out, and so I took them up on that offer, went back in, and quickly realized I did not make a mistake. A lot of the bureaucratic nature of the military was still alive and well, and the more kinetic stuff that I enjoyed doing wasn't so much, there for me. So it was a good reminder that, no, I made the right decision to leave. And so then I got out and, went back into corporate America, doing a little more contractor work, and then went to work for Amazon and some other places. So it was a little rough. And I think a big part of that was just dealing with a lot of the PTSD that I had from all those combat tours and never really giving myself the time to address that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a huge thing. And 2008 was no joke. I bought my first house at the end of 2007.
Yeah, it was a rough time. It was definitely rough.
Yeah. When we tried to move, my house wasn't valued at half what I bought it for. I'm like, I had to bring a ton of money to the table if I wanted to sell it, so I had to make it a rental. That was a rough time for sure. All right, so what led you down this pathway then to become an entrepreneur? Why'd you want to do that?
Well, it was really the encouragement from, my wife. When I had my PTSD started really hitting me, I had kind of stumbled upon having a drone, and I was just kind of playing around with the thing. And I realized that while I was flying the drone, I guess because of the different perspective that it gave me of, looking, at the world from a different view, I was getting a little bit of relief from my symptoms, my PTSD symptoms, less stress when I was flying and could kind of deal with some of the issues I was having. And so, she had encouraged me really to, hey, maybe you can make a business out of this. So I started looking into that, and this is around 2017. So it was pretty early in the adoption of drones. The FAA had just started their licensing, for the Part 107. And so, she kept encouraging me to do it. And, so like I said, in 2017, I started an LLC and started offering drone services, primarily photography, but a few mapping and other services as well. And then it just kind of grew from there.
It's a fantastic industry now, and
Yes.
then that's with the job I initially got out of the military. I had to get a drone license as well, and just so many different avenues and things you do. And one of my favorites actually is how realtors are using it to help,
Mhm.
sell houses. I mean, it's a fantastic use of the tool, and really love to see the creativity that goes into that. So that's fantastic. So what's been the best and worst part about being an entrepreneur?
I think entrepreneurship is a fantastic way to kind of take control of your life, on the professional side. And so I think that the freedom from, when I worked in corporate America for companies like Amazon, so very structured, very heavy oversight from everything, like there's very little flexibility in it. So what I love the most about having that opportunity is, right now I'm part of three businesses as, a co-owner. One is the Vigilante Drones. Then I'm part of Altitude University, which does online training for Part 107 drone licenses. And then I'm part of just starting a new one called High Stakes University, which does drone training for high stakes situations for law enforcement and security personnel. And that's online and in person. And with all of those, it's great to have the flexibility to say, like, this is what I want to put my efforts into today. On the flip side of that, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to realize that, like, it's all on you. So if you're going to succeed or fail, that's on you and the team around you. And that puts that added pressure that sometimes things that are out of your control that a larger organization can absorb, you have to absorb the full force of that. So case in point, when COVID first hit, in that particular month, I had, prior to COVID, I had been growing pretty well on my drone service business. But after COVID, that just disappeared. So, that first month, my company only made $250, and that put like a huge crunch on, us financially and stuff. So I think that the downside is you really are responsible for everything that happens, success or fail. And that can be, both good and bad, but certainly that's a challenge of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, so what resources have you used to help build your business? Any classes or courses or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I went to the University of Redlands and had gotten my MBA, so that was obviously very helpful in understanding a lot of the bigger picture of business. And then there are some fantastic organizations out there that are more than willing to help you, especially as a veteran, to build a business. So I did some stuff with Wounded Warrior Project. They have their Warriors to Work program. And they were able to help with some of the funding for equipment and training. I was part of the Rosie Network. I don't know if
Mhm.
you're familiar with them, but went through their course, and that was very helpful to really, get a little more laser focused on, what it was that I wanted to do with the business, how I wanted to expand it and, change it. And then another great organization, if you're familiar with it, is Work Vessels for Veterans.
Haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, they're a fantastic organization that basically, if you provide them with a business plan and say, this is kind of my need for growing the business or starting the business on an equipment level, they'll raise money to try to get you that equipment.
Oh,
So they've bought people, fishing boats and tractors for farms and whatever. And in my case, they supplied me with, several $1,000s worth of drone equipment that I was able to use to diversify my business and strengthen, my position in other markets. So those three in particular were very, very helpful.
hmm.
And then I also got a little bit of help from organizations like SCORE, who kind of can look at your business plan and help you, tweak it or whatever. But yeah, definitely those three were huge in helping me in my journey.
Fantastic. No, I'm going to look into that one. I hadn't heard of that one. All right,
Mhm.
so tell us about Vigilante Drones. Tell us what you're doing with that and how it's going.
Well, it's going really well. Vigilante Drones is a drone service provider. So I offer primarily photography and mapping services, and that spans everything from inspections to real estate to sometimes you have weird things that pop up. Somebody wants you to help with searching for a lost, pet. Or I've had a few things that were based in more of an archaeological, study world. So, that's going real well. And then that's tied into the online courses with Altitude University, where, we provide a platform that's a self-paced course where, students can go in and learn all the material they need to pass the Part 107. And with over 19,000 students that have gone through that course, we have a over 99% success rate for passing the Part 107 on their first try. So it's a really great course. And then with this new venture with High Stakes University, we're able to take those two things and put them together and have in-field training for law enforcement security personnel married up with the online content of Altitude University so that they can really get trained. Because I think that a lot of people don't realize that just because you have a drone license, that does not mean you know how to fly a drone. In this country, there is no requirement at all for, being able to show that you can fly a drone in order to get your license, which isn't the case in other places. And so we offer that service to vet your pilot to make sure that they know how to fly and they're safe and legal. And then for somebody who says, hey, I have a security operation and, none of my guards can fly a drone, great. We'll train them, we'll get them licensed, and then we'll make sure that they're safe so that you're, not having a liability out there. You have an asset that you can use, for improving your operations and efficiency. So yeah, that's kind of, what's going on right now with the three entities that I'm involved with.
That's fantastic and much needed, especially the your new venture, the High Stakes. It's so much to do with like disaster response too and things like that.
Absolutely.
And that was the world that I was in, and just some amazing tools out there for all of that. So, all right. So what's the best place for the audience to connect with you?
Well, you can definitely check out Vigilante Drones Consulting if you want to look at that side of it, and then altitude-university.com is the online course, and then highstakesuniversity.net is our High Stakes University page. So you can definitely check that, or you can just look up David Daly in LinkedIn and see my profile from there.
All right. Outstanding. Well, David, we want to thank you for joining us today on VET S.O.S to share your entrepreneurial journey with us in the audience. And on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, we want to thank everyone for tuning in today. And you can find VET S.O.S on all your favorite podcast platforms, YouTube, and all social media platforms. Please make sure you subscribe and follow so you don't miss anything. And remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S lifeline.